Part 2. The end of a loser, the beginning of a winner. Somebody once told me that I was born salesman. Let me tell you that is not true. Some salesmen, maybe even most salesmen, may born to it, but I was not born a salesman. I made me a salesman all by myself, and if you could do it, studying from where I do, anybody can stay with the history. I will soon see what I mean. Lots of people start out poor, but their words were the born was a special kind of poor. Maybe something like that kind of poor those days if you black and poor. I was born November 1, 1928 on the lower east side of different. In those days it was almost all of what you world called Italian, but what I call Sicilian. Because to me there being difference, I am proud be silence everything through it. A lot of people, including people from other parts of Italy, discriminated against us. We tried to make out of the us and born into a kind of crime. Since my strong paid of me into a lot trouble to my younger days. And even some things its recent years I was pretty quick and the fight anybody to who called me warp, digo and grister. I know that everybody is precised against somebody, but I have never liked it directed against me, and I have blocked it a lot of noise and being called warp, digo and grister. The first home I remember was an upper flood into two-family house across the street from a layer yard. You think so pretty those place is lived across from the courtyard, but I have evidence, and when I things were really through at the 1 minute and the house was freezing cold. My older brother Jim and I could to be across I stayed over on the wall trip ground. Under the face and through hex the crawl and the brother with put them in the drill up bag. The word hum the house put them and prison something that was all there was to burn. So it never burned us that could maybe let burn and somebody else. That the kind of word was born into. The future was the clear, but I remember the clear and another reason it was my father's favorite place beat me as early I can remember. When I guess I was good at bad at most little kinds, nothing special, so I never know why he did not me to brother and my younger sister, but I have did it. Mostly he worked with me brown and there's me to prepare and there's a breed and meat of what those kind of leather space and they used to Spain or resorts. Anytime or any kinds made me noise or anything. It was me that is good. Down the clear and hurling them, warping me. You are not good at. You will never be nothing. You are gonna go to jail, shift the like that. And I have never kind of figured out why me, but it's never stopped as long I lived at home. Some things I have run away from the blocks and the resist the year down the river and hide out of the boxcars once in a while, and I even sleep in store cart floors and the pregnant cars. And when I come home and I breathe me again and I told I was not good, world never amount up to anything. And I that end up in just round what we call some prison and injection magician when a lot of guys from the neighborhood went. I'll tell you one thing, if you grow up in a house where your father is the bosses, even tells you your dream good from the still time you can remember and embrace the while as telling you your belief after the all your only father the only authority you know that must be right. After a while I understand. I started believing it. I thought my mother used to come down the clear around and tell me that I really was good boy. That helped some, I guess, but she was not the bosses like my old man. So, as much I loved her, I still believed that I was not good and never would be worth anything. I believe it can for a long time, and it has a lot of the what that happened to me, what I did myself for most of my life. Tried to figure out what it was that made him hate me and pick me and dump on me that way, that all time. He comes from silly young man, understand, particularly literate and poor. His own father had been a trying whom crossed, been beat him. My father was 25 when he married my mother. She was only 15, and my mother was not too happy about her marrying my father. Nobody ever told me what was going on those days, but a fight started between my father and my mothers that never ended as long as have lived. My father would not let any of us, including my mother, have anything to do with my grandmother even was she lived in a same to family house. My mother used to sunk into a crowded about Telkhadar through a partition sometimes, and I would visit her too because we are very close friends, maybe because of how my father felt about us. When my father found out that I was seeing his enemy bump and bring to the hollering and crossing begin again. You are probably wondering that what this had to do how to sell. Well, it was everything to do how attitudes get planted in your head, and what got planted in my head was that I was not good and that would not amount of anything. I believed that I was going to prove that my father was right. After all, you have surprised onto honor and hobby of your father, but there was another attitude planet there too, from the some beginning and closings. There was this feeling to what angry against him, wanting to prove him that was wrong. So, Yab did not make a leave my brother and my sister, sometimes on attitude proud, sometimes on the on, sometimes they cleared his other out. My father was never able to get much of work after after all. It was dispensions and it was silence and difference and hate to trade. Nothing mostly he was head of on the WPA. We were almost always on welfare was the cult referred in those days. About the only happy times I can remember were around Christmas when the blood flows and the lights Christie and the world sun the boxes and the toys the people had combined mostly were used to repeat, but it was a big troll and even the better of the coupon this gives us the trade down and to exchange for a pair of new shoes. That was a very big deal to me in those days. When I was around 8 years old, I started working a few blocks where I lived where the Lord of Hector's us. River had the terror planet at the river. There was a big soap factory and there were some furniture factories and some others. All along East Zipperphone ever since never those planets there were working since the beggars. I built sunshine box on the gate some graves and the policies. I did not remember where I get the money from them. And I work those are bugs gives since and what looks earned money. The way let me tell that supervising on the factors under creamy sooners at the plan as well must of whenever you've done. I will studied the afternoon and after school when the factories were letting out. I did not work all the bugs, all the difference of the meal, and then I have come back and studied again, maybe more than once a day. My price was a nickel if I could guess. Sometimes I did not. I get to trip an extra penny for two, and some things I could not even get more 2 cents for the while cinema. And after a while, I developed some tricky movies like tossing the behaves the air and changing hands. People get to know me, and I did not extra tips. And in those days of 1930s, even on penny bright of the lost carry up the nickel bright of a double dip ice cream on the or quite a milk. The second and third time along the street I have been seen guys door four drinks later. I saw what bros does of people just in the course in a few hours. Sometimes it would make them easier and maybe more gorgeous, but a lot of times it just made them madder. After all, those were men who had worked a hard day and were maybe scared they lost their jobs. There are more workers than jobs in these days, a lot more, and they had surprised and unawarded, uploaded their tables before the head and grim the poor miserable house, working those beers on the pretty game. But it did not work maybe a then or even a night and come house about $8, something more. At all it when the family it sometimes it was the mayor was coming in. When a planet was closed or there was not the much business for me as some other son and I only bought a home a few cents. My father would the other to me and beat me. Those nights I offered to go home, therefore it not doing well good built into me then, and I did not say an outer layer or maybe for few cents. It was loosey kind of childhood, but I never went to forget it. That's why I keep being pictured to me at egg nice me kinds of senses shows. I have been when the well on my office so I went forget when I started from. I hated it, but I am proud of it. My first sales. Maybe there was a little selling experience in going around and particularly bring guys to let me shine their shoes. I guess it's putting on my little act on the floor with those brinces and all was a kind of selling piece. But where I really learned about on aspect of selling was when I started delivering newspaper. I have to get up about 6 o'clock in the morning and I go to the grub where the drafted free press crops the dropped of the delivered in the night neighborhood. I fold they them carry on my bag on my road and though I am going to school and the shine beat operate. Where I really learned about selling. Those was when the first paper hit the contrast for new subscribers. For every on to sign up who was staying and the late month. A win a case of Pepsi Cola now that was a very big deal to me. A case of 24 12-ounce bottles soda pop was really something. To talk about interesting, the motivation boy that really was it for me. I worked every house and every apartment on every street I could find. I ran so many doorbells in my fingers, got so I may even have missed a day or two of my school during that contrast. By I was president, I did so. We are having the contrast, and I did you some of the semester away. The previous was only the registered a month, but I have figured out that the most people we can keep thinking the paper owns the head sign up. Tell them how it would be delivered to their door before they got up. Which was true, and it's their soul to know. I have kept on going, never giving up, never being so disappointed that I did not that keep pushing the tables and it is so fun being turned down. But I soon found on that more people I think on the more sales I made. And that was fun and better than first before a pretty soon and little gravy head behind the house on the littered with cases of Pepsi that I could sell in the neighborhood for whatever I could to get to them. That gave me more money to bring home, more hope that I could prove, and my foster father that was I worth something, but even the don't to work. I stayed with the shine box and the newspaper of about fifth year going on school most of the time but not doing very well at it. I was not much of a scholar but I will learn some and did not to go hate when I was there. But the trouble between my father and me never got any better and maybe a couple of dozen different times he would be down me out of the house. I have slept in those boxers and something I didn't go down to make to take room in a flower shape and the eyes downtown. It was family part of town, ship hotels, rooming house, warehouse, movies that shined what passed in the pond in these days. I did get a bed in those places of the noontime quarter a night. You did not get a room, just a bed in a kind of dormitory with the bunches of drinks, sleeping if not heavy. The days my father would become looking for me after a while and bring me back home and tell me be good. He did because my father made him to the age. I did come home, try school for a while, hang out with the guys on the corner, and then get thrown out again. When I was 16, I was out of the corner with the night. Those two guys, two friends of mine and neighborhood. They said we have been going to connect on the beer on the modern and the lifestyle. We cannot join already those people maybe he leaves some crush. Wanna come along with the was the bars with I used shine shoes and I kinda was the bar. I did never anything like the before. But maybe it was because I know the place or whatever. But I detected to go alone with them whatever I was not broke at the latest not tell them. I don't know what declared me to go alone, but those I was. When they costed the bar on the guy's head, gone to the joint and left the window open. In those days you could do that. Now there always be bars on the windows, the alarm and matter till night meant the windows was not locked, but not them. Even it's a charming for neighborhood like a lived in. So about 10 o'clock that night we shrinked into the garage in the water hotel, which used to be luxury apartment hotel down on the river. We carved a car. I remember it was street breaker. I can still hear the garage guy hollering, "Hey, come back with that car!" But we just tore us out of that place and shied the car on the street in the neighborhood. Bars in the duty had closed in the 2 in the morning, so we had to work till a night man closed the place, clean up and left. It was around 30 in the morning. Within hit the place, we got a car and down into the alley behind the car. There was nobody around on the street or anywhere. The whole air was completely closed down of the night. I was not even scared while it was going on. In fact, on of the there, it was not even shut at all. One of the guys crawled through the window and unlocked the black door. Then we just looked up the whistled into it was in a daze world where it must been something around May of 1994. It both was the pretty hard gate in fact the reasons for in the wall machine anyway the gate the locked clean up the register we took up the head of brushes and split in the money. There was 175 into that scale so my share was nearly 60 plus. The bulk of the battle was good for selling this liver were the guys and who hang out in the corner. For me that was a bring easy money. And they while them worked so well that I did not think anything more about it. It's funny when I think back in the 2 days. Because I really don't know why I did to keep on the doing after that the first. I mean I was not that scared about anything and many was good. I figured that we could find other jobs easy to do, but I did not think. I think my old was bringing me a lot of get a job. and I did the awesome factory, so maybe I was more effort to him and what him did to it. I did not go over. Anyway, I particularly forget about the whole thing, or the at least I was trying to when one day I am lying in the bed at home and I heard a lot of my mother was crying. I could not figure out what was happening. I never occurred to me that I could have anything I do with the breaking into the bar that was happened this month before. I had not had anything to do with those guys after that, and nobody had said anything about again. It all sending guys in the room and solving my saying get up. I open my eyes and it brings its sword in my the face and this scoop says it gets on clothes. The next time thing I know I am of the police station and this scoop and a branch on other are asking me about the bar, bloody and of a branch of job, pulled bars and greases stores I did not know anything about. But they know about the on I had been it on. One of the guys he'd been first he told about the branch of jobs he done, including that bar I and somehow my name came up. So the next things I did not return home. It was the worst place I did not ever been. A big room full of ghosts and kids and the big house come around with a stove and makes a kind behind over the streets helping him. It was worse than I night spent in the clubhouse, where they turned on the lights in the middle and night hues of the body within whoever did and didn't night it was the worstest night I ever spent in my life. And I had spent a lot of nights in a loud, horrible place. In the morning they buzzed me out to see the man who honored the who have the river. He recommended me and asked why I did it. I said don't know, but I did pay him to beg the words I had taken. He said okay and did praise since so. I got out the place and I would have done anything to get out those. My father and my uncle come to get me out. My father started brings as me as soon as we got outside the building. He bade me in the car and he bade me when we got home. We picked hollering about the sum I hate both and the family name. The name that this time I really throughout I hate it came to me. I hate proving to my father that what he had always said always me was true. I was not good. A small true cook I hate got arrested, but I also get scared of my life. Spending that night in the juvenile home, no matter what happened, going to be thrown or that again. I was not going to be go tell Jill like a lot of guys. I used up with would to up doing. So I took a job in the stove company in the neighborhood where a lot of the similar weekend I put inclusions into the step panels, which was a routine job because that was sharp got into your clothes and skin, your nose and they work it your heart at the first. One day I got cursed smoking. It was my skin absence and they blamed me. Boom that was a word we used for getting fed. It was a very spice and giving the worship out, which is how I felt about myself a lot of the time. I was busboy at the Stellar Hotel for a while. Another time I was a belief at the book cabinet hotel which became a shelter room. I did a little act there, wearing on those uniforms and passing greatest on day I throw the away a branch of telegrams instead of developing the rooms. I denied that the hate happened. I was there built my time saved and did not want to blame me. I hate no things that I like I might be done better and maybe even got be Vice President of something like a shutter room by idea was pretty iconic those days. I was in out of school a lot and somewhere along the line I got a fight with the study hill considered at Strain High School and I got explained he kept picking on me, maybe for nothing, maybe just another start of things. This kinds to But then he started me talking about you people and how you people hate better land and all that. I told him that my name is not you people because you know what it means. What they started saying, you people. He was talking about incense and pretty soon it got kind of nasty and at him all. And that was all for me and school. As I remember it, I lost most of my jobs for getting fights with the guy who told me about oops and dogs and grittiness. Maybe I was just looking for trouble in these days. Maybe I was weekend to keep losing to show my father that was right and I was not good. But I was full to anger and another lot figures around in those days. It made out on. That night in Javelin the home and it was have saved me waste. I will never forget how I lived. Maybe I was not good, but I sure as hell was not bad in a diverse day. After some more beginning from a lazy job the next I stinted in my main. That was a beginning in of 1947, but I fell off track and hurt my brake dragging basic training and they gave me the discourage but even that did not come easy. I hated the army. I was almost as hate for my breed and the while they just gave me opportunity instead to listing me on art. That instance I have never opened help to get discouraged I will give my missing outbreak. For a while I thought was some kind of startup and the whim trying to catch the bring official keep me out and I tried to ignore him. Within my age finally came up and they gave me a discount me and asked for his money. I gave it to him and I was not home with an honorable discount. I don't know if I had anything to do with or not, but I was so glad to get out of there that I gave him the few bucks and that had been paid. When I got home, my mother was glad to see me, but my father started in again with what a blind I was. He told me that not even the army wanted me. He said, you are in no good and you will never be any good. He said that he shouldn't have crooked me and when I was born. I will never forget that day as long as I live. With tears in my eyes, hearing my father screaming and hollering all the over again and seeing the tears in my mother's eyes, I left home working. Sometimes I hammering out, at other times I stood hearing screaming and hollering my dad's voice, which constantly haunted me. Then, in 1948, I got into some more trouble with the law of being spared. Another guy and I opened a head cleaning and booking and schedule shop in our neighborhood. In the back room, we had blackjack and dice games. We thought we had worked out a pretty good system of washing up the few log. On of us would do lockout in the front of the store, and somebody who looked like a kept come in. We had a single with a knife through the wall. The guy is in back was spot while the dice shine and away. We will do nice abilities. And a day I still found a work body and in days behavior junior high school come in. We talked about old days and he said it was the concept business that asked. We got into the bag and him within the partner's shop. He recognized he was kept in the run in the bag with the dice. The hard way to easy money. It never earned my mind that somebody from our neighborhood could be a cop. It was kind of insane of suggest that somebody was a cat. In fact, there's a similar cases that tells a guy should be kept, but this guy was a cap even though my partner got away with the gambling evidence so that all we had was a friendly card game going on. They keep everyday tickets our lottery the rule with our kind and join what the guy who ran it ate pretty fitness in the way customers got the learning. So our little business earned up with the handling trick and tickets we had to pay fitness on That was the end of my days as a gambling. I was operating, and it was just as well because until we got rid of it, we were making pretty easy money. And for a while, I really believed there was such a thing, easy money, even though I had worked my ass off most of the money I ever earned in my life. Then there was another string of losses. Finding, getting blind, and around with the guys, smoothing score the whatever else I can could do. Something I think that if anybody is those days a hard talented but dirty, I might have iced on job or worked my way up something good. But maybe the reason nobody talented my dirty, that was really I believe I was not no good and acted bad in proof it. I really think I was acting written so my father would know he was right and then maybe he would love me. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the way people seem to act a lot of time. Look at the guys who try to make girls love them by bringing them and even killing them. It makes no sense, but does that sense to be way people act that they are angry with he who are not treating them right. I finally did get back into from on man and that started to my sense my life a little. His name was Abbey Station and he was very small scale home builder. He did a vast guy rent a lot of different neighborhoods and nice some people, but then built some crop house, a lot of lots, and at a time maybe a half dozen or so of a year. He was not building any Leverton just in nickel and time operation. He hired a Miss Common labor who was related and disrupt a truck mixed content, added building materials and a work battery and everything else on the house in these days. Person built them for maybe 9,000 and sold them for maybe 12,000. There was not much selling and what there was did himself, so he would not have a pretty commissions. It was mostly about getting money from the bank. Materials, all that people needed, cup, house, and they break up if they could finance them. It was a small operation that I got to see how particularly everything was done and how we both do it where we could not ourselves. I got married about at the time I come to work for expression in that our first cup. That is the way. And then the first cup institution turned over to me, learning the business, keep me there. It was probably the first job I ever had. I think stayed for more the year I could deal with some living in the field, my life, my son Joe and my daughter Grace. When expression dedicated to rather than he turned the business over time to me. That was not really big Sunday because it was a very old truck, some tools and a little come mixer, but I had learned how would some experience together run my own. There was anything has lot of the downs, even more than other place, but it's a good year. I could anything houses on the time, count around the town to keep things getting make a little more money than I could make on the ordinary job. Things we went pretty well a while, but it was strictly small time. If you get to pack in lots together, you should some money by having two foundations drag the same time. Buying youth materials and deliver to the both together even that was a legal scale then. Why you unusually did, but it did not take a genius to see the advantage of getting bigger. So I decided to expand the operation somehow. Since we decided man, we treated me like a son, and I loved the guy. He take me a lot. As I moved from truck driver and superior to owner, but I what did not learn was women to trust women, not the trust. With the kind of small business we had, trust is not important. Nobody trusted us too much for long. So when I went on my own, I did not know how that you were not supported to believe anything unless you were seeing it wrong. I started looking around for a place to land where I could build a branch of houses at on time. All the subconstancy and all the materials I could bring and delivered chapter. Finally, I found a parcel of land of the Samal manipulate. I cannot build about 50 houses all in one place. And I couldn't believe at last for a time would house them a lot better than way I was during it. The reason of the land was available a price I could afford was that it was completely undeveloped, mainly meaning no sewers and adult deeper people with by house street trains. At first I was interested in the trust but did not salesman said, don't worry about showers. It was city hill, the mild climate and I hated to hear this going to start building the showers out on him in spring, but did not tell anybody. I told you because they didn't want to start a lot of land expansion around here. Great. That's what I wanted to hear. So I bought the property on the land correct at the highest rate of interest. But that was okay. Because once I get model home build student selling from it there would a lot of money coming in. A lot like a sure thing. I built the first house, put up signs at the rain ads and wanted to keep operating costs down. It was to be selling myself every weekend. I got out there on the seat of that house weekends with the people have to time stop shop for homes. A lot of people come around to look. They liked that saw that price was right the were a lot buying interest. But they all asked some question and their showers. I told them what I know that our showers will be in a few more months. So pretty sold would come back when the showers in, and I said they are rented. Meanwhile, I worked money on the land or the building materials. There are a lot short-term credit in building business. You get money on when you start selling, but I was not selling anything, and short-term credit we got, but the long-term everything was dealing more. I was the whole of the about 60,000. It finally dawned on me that I had better find out drum quick those hours. So I went City Hill to there and asked, and every day I loved me finally what showers. There's a work plans to forest on the river I soon found on. In fact, the heavy built showers on the yard. I never false spit in my life, believing the real straight salesman on thing like that without cracking, but I did believe him. And everything I had done, spring at of travel of working here for 10 years was now down the drain. Finally, it got to pit point where when I came back home at night, I would to have parked the car couple of blocks away and sink into my own house through the away and over the back fence. The beggar was trying to respond my car. Now I had to go, but then on night I came home and June, my wife, asked me for money for groceries. I don't have any. What they are kids going to eat? She asked. How about that for a question? What are the kids going to eat? Here I was a home builder to allow himself to be cornered at the point where everything was gone. Creditors were on my tail. The break that was after my house and car, but yet, but how nothing to eat. I sat up the whole night wondering what to do. For the while, the old detective came back, and it was not good. Likely my father always said, no matter how hard it had sustained all my life, it comes back to that. But I could not forget that question my wife had asked. There was no time to feel sorry for myself. It was responsibilities to other people, to my wife and children. Besides to money, I wanted on my subcontractors and spirals to work that they had then by good health. But I was not aware at the moment about David's vacancy my car. Pretty soon all I could think about was getting new money. I felt my family that's the next day. That was all, just keeping them from the brink. Hurry another day. I had to know a lot of hunger where I was a kid. All at home every day was spending lots of time without even any sponsors or anything on it. I was the biggest loser ever. was not going to make other people suffer because of what I did not do. I had always made a living for my family. As a kind, I was streams the only support when I worked in the factories and made in this week. My father made me at it over the clocks and gave me a couple bucks for spending money. I always had been able to bring home the feel my wife and children. Maybe not Tracy, but until that moment. I did not spend too much time thinking about how dumb I had been to believe that real estate salesman. The day I had, I might be have realized that believing him without tracking may be another way to training myself to prove my father that he isn't right about is not good. Them I had helped him to finance and build a little house he lived in during his last years. All I threw out about was finding some honest way to get food on my family. That was how I get into a car selling business. That was the start of my the world's greatest salesman. Look the back to learn how to look forward better.